Today's reading is from John chapter 13. After saying this, Jesus was troubled in spirit and declared, "Very truly I tell you, one of you will betray me." The disciples looked at one another, uncertain of whom he was speaking. One of his disciples, the one whom Jesus loved, was reclining next to him. Simon Peter therefore motioned to him to ask Jesus of whom he was speaking. So, while reclining next to Jesus, he asked him, "Lord, who is it?" Jesus answered, "It is the one to whom I give this piece of bread when I have dipped it in the dish." So when he had dipped the piece of bread, he gave it to Judas, son of Simon Iscariot. After he received the piece of bread, Satan entered into him. Jesus said to him, "Do quickly what you are going to do." Now no one at the table knew why he said this to him. Some thought that because Judas had the common purse, Jesus was telling him, "Buy what we need for the festival," or that he should give something to the poor. So after receiving the piece of bread, he immediately went out, and it was night. When he had gone out, Jesus said, "Now the Son of Man has been glorified, and God has been glorified in him. If God has been glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself and will glorify him at once." In today's Gospel reading, we hear a snippet from the events of tomorrow, Maundy Thursday. We'll skip over it tomorrow. We'll have bigger things to think about. The new commandments, Jesus washing his disciples' feet. We hear it today to prepare ourselves, to prepare for Jesus' betrayal, arrest and execution. One has to wonder what on earth could have come over Judas. What could possibly have made him do what he did? He is a figure who, in so much Christian writing, is utterly reviled, the embodiment of evil, the betrayer. Yet John seems to say that it was Satan, the accuser, who had entered him. He was not himself, a slave to destiny, to providence. One strain of Christian thought is that when Jesus dies and descends to the dead, the very first thing he does is to go looking for his friend Judas, to offer him once again the hand of friendship, of life and salvation. We know so little of what is going on in this moment at supper. But one thing is certain. If we are unsure, the disciples were completely oblivious. They are going on, eating and drinking, assuming that Judas has been sent to get out to get supplies. They have no idea of the reality of the situation, of Judas's inner angst, of what is just around the corner. They are inside in the light. They do not know the darkness that lies outside. I don't know about you, I have a strange compassion for the disciples' obliviousness this year. Just as the disciples knew not what was happening later that evening, who of us a month ago could have known that this is how we would be celebrating Holy Week? Just as the disciples enjoyed themselves at supper whilst darkness fell outside the window, today for us it is possible to bask in the glorious sunshine coming in through our windows and for a moment forget, or at least be unable to comprehend, the sorrow and hardship that must be facing so many today. But how could we do any other? Delighting in whatever joy we find is surely essential. We, like the disciples, find ourselves in an incredibly strange situation. But this strangeness, this disconnection, is nothing new. They felt it as much as we do. We can find comfort in Jesus in today's Gospel, because Jesus does not lose any sight of any part of the picture. He knows what turmoil Judas faces in the depth of his heart. He knows too the disciples' incomprehension and shares with them in the eating and drinking. Jesus is not absent from the proceedings. He is both there in the midst of it, involved and with skin in the game, but too he sees it from every angle. He is in the midst of it, but not lost in it. In every situation, he He both knows what we face and is with us in it, but too he sees past it, sees it for what it is. He holds all our different stories together, our realities and unrealities, and he holds us in it. And for that, we give thanks.